Red kites are a charismatic bird of prey species that have had a turbulent history in Britain, going from a common sight in many cities to extinct in most of the UK. They have now returned to the skies in some areas of the country, and one of the greatest success stories in British conservation. Before the 20th century, red kites had been widespread in the UK, particularly in urban areas where they could scavenge off of human waste and leftover food. Shakespeare even described London as being the city of kites and crows, and kites were known for stealing clothes off of washing lines to use for nesting material, earning themselves a reputation as pests. However, kites were also beginning to face persecution. In the 1500s, they were named as vermin by King James II of Scotland, who encouraged people to kill them. In the 16th century, this persecution spread into England, as kites were seen as a threat to food stock, parish wardens even offering a bounty of 1 penny per kite killed. This continued for many years, and combined with improving waste disposal in urban areas and egg collectors targeting kite nests, this led to a decline in kite numbers, and eventually extinction in England and Scotland by the late 19th century. By this time, the only remaining population was a few breeding pairs in Wales, so at the turn of the century that the plight of the red kite was finally fully understood, and in 1903 a conservation programme was created to protect them. This is now the longest running conservation programme in the world. This programme made very little progress initially, mainly due to the very small population and lack of genetic diversity. By the 1930s, it was clear that the Welsh kites would be insufficient to repopulate the rest of the UK. The recovery of this population was further slowed down by the spread of myxomatosis in the 1950s, greatly lowering the rabbit population in Wales, which had partly made up the diet of kites. It was in the late 1980s when a reintroduction of red kites was planned. In 1989, 6 Swedish kites were released in Scotland, and 4 were released in Buckinghamshire, with 1 Welsh bird. A further 93 birds were released in the next few years. More birds have been released in the following years, and populations of both sides have seen success. Red kites have faced some problems since their reintroduction, however, such as lead poisoning from feeding on carcasses which have been shot, or secondary poisoning from ingesting pesticides or eating baited carcasses. In Scotland, they have faced some aggression from gamekeepers, who believe incorrectly that kites can damage livestock or game. However, for the most part, kites have been welcomed by people, particularly in England, where in some urban areas such as Reading, large amounts of their diet comes from food deliberately left out by people. This reintroduction is one of the most successful ever seen, and has allowed kites to become a regular sight in the skies of the UK again.